There we go. Now I got audio. Sweet. Howdy, folks. My name's Dave. I'm a woodturner. I started this channel to become a better demonstrator and a better teacher. To become a better turner myself, it's always better to have more practice than less, I think. And in helping other turners become more efficient, better turners themselves, that cements things in my head too. So I really love to teach this stuff. And I really just enjoy engaging in it. So anyway, thanks for joining me. It's Twitch Tuesday. I've been looking forward to it. I had a little bit of a technological weird issue a second ago, or a couple minutes ago, but I think that's all taken care of. So let's turn this camera down. I've got this piece here, and it was originally just a practice piece. It had a void in it. I put resin in there and was practicing things on it, and left it on the shelf. Possibly to I know I was thinking about cutting it up and using it for, blocks and jam chucks and all that stuff. But the more I got to looking at it, the more I thought, hey, let's hollow that out and see what we get. I think that might look pretty cool. So since it was just a practice piece, it's just got some minor tool marks, a little bit of tear out. I'm going to throw some CA glue here in where this bark is. I see I've already done it here some time ago. And then I got a piece there. So hopefully try to keep as much of that in place as possible. So, and I do have a little bit of a void here from a bark inclusion. So I'm going to fill this first, and then I'm going to flood this stuff with CA glue, and hopefully it'll keep most of that together. I do know that there was raw wood down in the center for where this resin is actually touching wood, but I really did want to not have this break out as a hollowing or sometime in the future as the wood moves and all that. So I'm going to hit that with CA glue. And then, I don't know if that's going to stay or not, but I'll hit that too. Whoops. There goes my little container of bark, ground up bark. That's the first casualty. Maybe I should maybe I should start putting a counter up at how many times things get knocked off the lathe or vibrated or whatever. Things just fall off the lathe. Let's see. There it is. So I want to pack this in a little bit. It is going to compress a little bit. I do want it tall enough basically to be, about the height, well, a little higher than the height of the bead, but just to have some to cut away. But I don't need a lot. Now, usually when I do this, it does kind of sink in a little bit. So I may have to add a little bit more. Let's throw it. Okay. Well, let's close this in case it falls off the lathe. So I think I'll add a little bit more. See what I can get out of that groove there. Well, you know, I think it'll be all right. We'll leave it as it is. So I'll set these aside. How about right here? That tool away. And now we can get to this stuff. I just want it to soak in. I don't want to overdo it because it's just going to get in all of the grooves. I know I'm going to turn that away as I refine the beads here, but I want as little plastic as possible, I guess. I mean, really, that's what I'm doing, is I'm plasticizing the wood here. Good, it didn't get really all the way around. See how much of this actually soaks in. Just an attempt at trying to save the bark features on the outside. I don't know what the final dimensions are ultimately going to be. And then this guy. I don't imagine it'll be a whole lot smaller than it is now, but it'll be a little bit smaller. And we'll give that a little bit to evaporate. Now what I want to do with this guy is I'm going to hollow it out. And I really don't want to try to get around this. So I'm going to hollow it from both ends. And to that effect, I luckily found another piece of the same material. So hopefully these this ring pattern matches up, or I can get it to match up fairly close. But this will be my bottom cap. So let's toss some glasses down and get started. So as I'm going, TC Smo, hooray, you're on. Yes, hey, how's it going, man? Hey, talked to Mitch yesterday. He is, I don't know if he I imagine he probably contacted you about Vince's Wooden Wonders, his trip to Vince's Wooden Wonders. So I contacted Vince today to make a small order. And I really do appreciate Mitch bringing that out. Give myself a little bit. I do think that this lip is not going to be anywhere near as large. I think the more I think about it, the more I may continue those beads all the way up. I want some kind of more of a dramatic curve in there, so we'll see how this works out, right? But I needed to put a hold over here, or a tenon over here, to be able to hold it in the chuck. Most likely I'll probably have to cut this off. To be honest, I don't know that we'll go, well, no I don't. Now I know it will fit right in to where the chuck jaws don't meet. At least I'm fairly confident it will. Just for giggles. That way I shouldn't actually have to cut anything off there until I hollow it out from this side. So, and I'm not sure. I think I will hollow this. No. I think I'll hollow this first. Gosh, boy, that's a really good. How am I going to do this? All right, I'll have to hollow this first, but I will actually need to continue these beads up. So I have beads small enough to fit in the jaws of my chuck where it can grip. It's going to leave a little bit of a mark, but once I get this turned around again, I should be able to turn those away with minimal effort. And I can hollow both ends. I could break it in the middle, but I want to leave this, if I can, as one piece. So I'm going to give myself a little bit more light. Hopefully this doesn't wash it out too much. Oh, it's righty-tighty, Dave. There we go. Oh, hey, I should mention this too. Let's bring this back up. So, I guess it was last week, I turned a Kooks Cup out of maple burl, and this is the little guy finished. I still haven't decided whether I'm going to drill a hole in it or not. I might, but it turned out really nice. I really like the grain in it. I should get a lot of years of use out of that. Unless, of course, it gets sold, in which case, or I put it up for sale, in which case somebody else will get a lot of use out of it. Okay, I think I will start. Yeah, I'm going to have to give myself a little bit more light. There we go. And I wonder what this might look like. Yeah, it's too washed out. Yeah, it's kind of washed out too. Let me see what I can do here. Give myself just a wee bit more light. Can I swing it around this way? I can. Okay, cool. That works. And that doesn't make the image look terrible. All right, cool. So I've got a 3/8 spindle gouge and a 3/8 spindle gouge. That's a detail gouge. And I want to give this guy a shot here. It doesn't have the mass of the spindle gouge. But I've got a little bit more of the angle to work with because the flute is a little bit shallower, which means I can get a little bit further in. The valley is when I'm turning these beads. I think the trickiest part of this is keeping the tool parallel to the surface that you're working on. So that will be my widest point. So let me see. Yeah, I'm gonna turn this away. All right. No worries. Still not quite the curve I'm after. I'm going to lose some of that bark. Let's take this down a little bit more. Make it a little more dramatic. I think that's a good place to start. So let's go with the regular spindle gas. I don't know how much of that resin is left, but we'll find out once these beads are turned. I can hear the resin, so there's some left. So I'm going to cut out from the other direction because it will be easier to keep the tool perpendicular. To the surface. And actually, for this guy, I'm going to have to move my tool rest. Let's see if I can get to it from this side. Yeah. There we go. Let's see. That's fairly dramatic. Let me work on these guys. They need to be adjusted in size a little bit. All right, let's see what we got left as far as the resin is concerned. Well, I could get that. All right, let's see what we got left. Okay, so there is quite a bit of resin left. I may have that sealed up pretty good. I may have to hit this again, darn it. So I guess I'll just do that. All these little angel hairs all over the place. There's the glove. Doesn't look like it's soaked in very far. But let's just try to dab it on there. Oops. That was too much of a dab. And I should be able to clean some of this up with 220. I'm just trying to make sure I don't over flood it like that right there. And using a glove this time so my skin doesn't stick to everything. Sure it's all out of the grooves there. And what the heck. Looks like that might soak in a little bit. Maybe. So I do want to not have any liquid in the crevices when I hit it with accelerator, like those crevices, because it'll just bubble up. Everything else looks pretty good. No, I have to decide. Let's see. Yeah, we'll send it first. That means the mask comes out. Let's see. That's the wrong grit. That's the wrong grit. There we are. I don't know, the more I was pretty sure this was maple, but I mean, it does have a grain pattern that reminds me very strongly of ash. The resin can be a little bit hard to get an even sanding on sometimes. There we go. I also need to figure out like how I'm going to do this resin, because I don't know that I really want to wet sand the whole neck of this piece, which I guess means I'll just wet sand part of it. All right. Clean up that little resin a little bit. There we go. So I'm definitely going to have to get some finer grits on this stuff. That's probably what I should have done in the beginning. Finish this guy off. You'll probably see me do it over and over. Don't be afraid to restart your cut. If you're not getting the results you want when you start, getting chatter, stuff like that, it's only going to get worse. So just start the cut over. I think that it will greatly increase your turning enjoyment. Alright, that's looking pretty good. Yeah, it's not as open a grain as ash, but but it is kind of open. So I'm just not, I thought it was maple, but it may not be. Let's see, if we take a look at the plug, that looks more, it does have ash characteristics. It's just you don't see the same, this is from the same the same tree. I mean, you do see some open pores, but not as much as like I normally would with ash. This just maybe tighter winter rings there, and maybe that's it. Grew a little more slowly during the winter, which of course would be normal, I would think. So let's get some 320 after this. And hopefully you can hear me all right. I do have the mask on. I need to get a new package of the 320. That's 400. You know, I should move this bark. Let's move these out of the way. Okay, back to 320 grit. I will need these. That's 600 and 800 and 400 for later. I could probably get away with no 320. Aha. Nope, that's 220. Well, let's not skip the grits, okay? Let's see, where's my 320 new stuff here? This is 220. Well, seems like I've got a little bit more 220 than I thought. That's a good thing, but I did order some from Vince today. So, all right, so I got a piece of just regular old abrasive paper. We'll put that to use. Don't have a pair of scissors handy. Little trick I learned. I'm gonna grab a pair of scissors. If you know this one, cool. If not, hopefully this helps you out. So I folded it in thirds. And when I'm sanding in these grooves here, I don't want to sand on the corner here and sand down on the other side. I only want to sand on one side. So, and I don't want to sand right down in the groove, which is what that would do. So what I do is I fold the abrasive in thirds and I cut it flat. And then I can use this surface, open this up, and then use that surface and cut that away and keep working my way down. And I'm never cutting into that V. Now with the Velcro back stuff, it's not so much an issue. All the way around it is an edge like that. It lets me get right down in there without changing the depth of my bead. Plus, this is really good for getting, right up into like that feature right there. and get right up against that heat cut, that bead rollover or whatever you want to call it, and not cut it any deeper. If I did it this way, it would cut right into it. So yeah, works really, really well. When I've used all that, and just cut off a little bit and have another straight edge, and straight-ish, but an edge without abrasive on it. I'm mostly going to this trouble for the resin. If there was no resin, I would have been done already. But I like to pour my resin where it's not opaque. So I got to kind of polish it up a little bit so you can see through it. And then I can still use the abrasive, normal sanding. And I've got a little bit of a barrier between me and the timber or whatever I'm actually sanding on. I can still feel a heat build up. I want to be able to feel if there's too much heat building up. But I still have this barrier of two extra layers. Plus, I don't know, I like to think it cushions it a little bit. I'm not sure that it does, but it definitely stiffens it up so I can get around some corners. Let's see where I could improve things here. Right there. That looks pretty good. How does that resin look now? Let's clean that off. Well, heck, I might as well just grab my little water bottle and get to work polishing this up really quick. I want to have everything done, as much as I can do on the lathe before I take it off and start moving things around. It still looks. What can I do? If I add a lid to it at the end, that might. Yeah, that'll. I'm gonna figure out a way to get a lid on this. Not that it has to have a super tight friction fit. Maybe that just lays around the outside of this top bead, just to give it a little bit more width. I don't want to take this down too much further because I can see that I'm close-ish to the timber that's down at the bottom there. I don't want to lose. I want to lose as little resin as possible. Grab the water bottle. Oh, hey, and since I'm wet sanding, I don't need the mask. And hopefully the addition of CA glue has closed up any other cracks that the actual plastic polish can get into. So where did I put them all? Let's see, that was 220. This is 400. No, that was 320. Okay, so we'll wet sand a little bit with some 420. If I can do this. So I'm doing my best to make sure that I don't let the slurry get dry, and I should also do something like that. If I let the slurry get dry, then it will definitely gum up the abrasive, but also potentially leave me some not so pretty marks. All right, let's see. Let's swing this guy around. Actually, that was really good light for the. Yep. Oh well. So fortunately, this part should go pretty quick. 400 and then 600. And we'll take a look after 600. Maybe I'll be able to just polish it from there. But here's a good plastic polish I'm using. I just usually go to 2000 to really, well, yeah, most of the time. I don't always go to 2000 with it, but it also depends on what kind of finish I'm going to put on. It's kind of a little bit of a chore, but I don't want to turn the lathe on and wet all of the wood. I want to keep as much of it as possible dry. So I can see a couple of spots. Do a little more work here. I wonder if that would, yeah, that might add a little something to the viewing experience. Oopsie daisy, got a little dry. Well, at least it's not the over the shoulder cam, it's just over the hand, back of the hand cam. Yeah, that looks pretty good. All right, let's go from there. I'm going to go right to 600. I imagine there's probably other grits between 4 and 6. It wouldn't surprise me, I guess. I've just never seen them. Whoops. Not too much water. To my recollection, but grits I usually go through are 220, 320, and if I want to go further, it's 400, 600, 800. If I want to go further than that, I'll use wet sand, wet or dry paper, but usually I use it wet because when I'm going that high, I'm usually, like I say, working on the resin. And I'll wet sand up to 2,000 grits, so 1,000, 1,500, and 2,000. And then I will use my plastic polish. But I think since I did a fairly decent job of not leaving myself any gross tool marks, then I might be able to stop at 600. We'll take a look once I'm done wet sanding this bit. And as always, don't forget, this is live and interactive, so if you have any questions or comments, I do pay attention to chat. There's a technique that you don't understand at some point, you want a little bit more explanation. If I haven't done a proper job, I suppose, of conveying what I mean, I do my best. I like to keep these things simple, but if there's something that you missed or something you don't understand, put that in chat. I will get to it. All right, let's see what that looks like. Okay, I'm going to hit that one a little bit more, and then I actually think it's good enough to just go right with the plastic polish. Yeah, it's all be an experiment, right? This is a practice piece I had in the first place, just sitting on the shelf. No idea what I was going to do with it, if I was going to cut it up or whatever, and just kind of looked at it a little bit differently today and said, hey, Wouldn't that be cool if I hollowed that from both ends? So here we are. Okay, I need to step inside and get my plastic polish. I've been putting it inside just to make sure. I don't think we've had a frost yet, but just to make sure it doesn't get too cold. Definitely don't want the stuff to freeze. Except, and here's the tricky part. Where did we set it? Surely, oh, there it is. In the first place, I should have looked. Hardy har har. Okay. So I need number 3. So if you're new to the channel, this is what I've been using. This is the only brand I have ever used because a little bit goes a long way, and it works really, really well. So I haven't had to switch to anything else yet. When I bought it, it was actually pretty reasonable. I think the whole kit was, I want to say it was less than 20 bucks, but probably less than 25. I don't know what it would be now, but it was pretty reasonable. Had a lot of good reviews. I said, oh, what the heck, let's give that one a shot. And I have been very happy with it, with the results that I get. So this is another one that you don't want it to dry out because it will gall up on you and possibly leave some marks that will take extra work to get out. And right now I'm using the heavy scratch remover, just using the components in order 3, 2, 1. Let's clean that off, or rather 3, 2. Well, number 1 is the cleaner, so it's 3, 1, 2, 1. I guess would be more accurate. Get all that cleaned out of there. Yeah, that's looking pretty nice. Let's get that tiniest bubble in the outside here, but some of that heavy scratch remover polish got stuck in it, so we'll clean that out. Oh, and a second one. And a third little spot. That's why I was hoping that the CA glue filled in, and it did fill in most of it. It'll get trapped down in there, and that's not, and it will resist finish. So it's Tuesday, November 5th, I guess. I don't know. I guess the polls have probably closed. I have no idea what time they closed today. But anyway, thanks for joining me. I'm sure there's lots of news and hubbub and stuff about the election. And I'm sure it'll be all over the news later when I get done with this broadcast. So I'm not going to worry about it right now. All right. And that abrasive out of there. Oh yeah, that polished it up pretty nicely, man. That's not bad. Oops. Tried to spray the towel and sprayed off to the side. Oops, wrong end. Oh, I know what would work better. Let's grab the plastic, the nylon brush. Where are you, dude? There you are. And that'll clean those holes out quick. There we go. Door. Okay. Now I put all this away. The outside is essentially done. And now I can work on the rest. Put that aside for a sec. I may need the plastic polish later, hopefully not. I think though that I can get my steady rest right up there. So I'm going to use a steady rest today. I really want that hole to be straight, and I'm going to do that with a Forstner bit. Just because, and I'll get rid of most of the mass. I'll do the cleanup with the gouges on this end, and this here should fit nicely. Actually, I can use that in I can make a jam chuck for it out of something else. So I'll make a jam chuck for this guy. Nope, can't do that. I will. What will I do? Well, I'm going to have to hollow that out. I'll leave this. I'll make that another hold for the chuck right there. Like that. I will hollow it out. I'll leave this little bit here that I will have to finish off anyway. Then I might be able to use a tennis ball. We'll figure that one out. So I'm going to hollow this guy in now. Let's go ahead and get let's see. I think it would be smarter to have this guy on this side. Get the steady rest set up. So I may have mentioned this in the past. This is a one-way steady. And my main disappointment with it is, let's see, I want this. Do I want it this way? Nope, I want it this way. My main disappointment with it is that I was able to buy the bowl steady with the stand, but you can't buy the spindle steady with the stand. It is only sold as a separate piece. So that has been my biggest disappointment with the tool here, but it works great. All right, where did I put the wrenches of Allen? They are in my tool bag. I think that I'm going to change these wheels out for skate wheels because these have two. Oh, well, that's the other thing. These have got two bands on the wheels that fit into a groove here. I don't know if you can see that on camera. But when they heat up, they tend to expand and sometimes come off of the wheel. And with the skate wheels, I am reasonably sure that will eliminate that issue. So I think this is a good height. We'll find out. I may have to adjust. And I changed my mind. I think that, yep, it's got to go down a little bit. Sorry, I'm bumping the camera around a lot. I just got hooked into the air hose. Okay, so right about there, I guess. There we go. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this down on this whole outer bead since it will fit right in between. These bands on the wheel. What am I doing there? Trying to make sure I got the same basic compression against all the wheels. Let's give that a spin. All right, so there's going to be a little bit of knocking because of that piece of bark, but that's okay. Let's back this guy off for a second. Whoops, forgot that part. All right, Dave, there's the wrench. Got to tighten this guy down. So, fortunately, it shouldn't take long to get the fortunate bit down in there. This whole process shouldn't take super long. I apologize for the noise you're going to hear, but also, hopefully the microphone will just tune that out, or filter that out. Oops. Now I'll take my skew, I'll set myself a center point for my portion bit. Slow that guy down and get this ready. Alright, so we got, let's see, the finished part would be right there. So that is 2 1/8. So, what did I have prepared? Inch and 3/4. So that's cool. That'll work. That'll actually be a nice wall thickness too, and might get me almost to the inside of this resin where it will shine through. That's the plan anyhow. Oh yes, that's some hardwood. So I'm gonna, well, still not sure if it's, it smells like ash. So I guess we'll just go with ash. So a lot of ways to skin this cat too. You could cut it in half and have that mark hidden. I'm going to do it from the bottom so I can hide the mark there. The seam rather, the joint. If you have the long handled, I don't know if they make a hand tool. I guess you could custom bend one to make a shape like this and hollow it out all from the top. I think I'm somewhere right in here. I'm going to measure it here in a sec. Now I can go 4 1/2, 5 1/2. What am I at? 2 7/8. Some right in there. Well, we'll get as deep as we can get with this guy. And this way I can get rid of, you know, most of the mass pretty easily. I won't have a whole lot to have to turn away. So let's see where we are there. Oh yeah, it got right to the outside of that. So that is 3 7/8, which gets me almost there. So I'm thinking if I remove this tenon and just use this guy, I can get probably clear out the rest of that. So I think that's about exactly what is going to happen here. Except I'm going to grab a bowl gouge, a heavier gouge, since I'm off the tool rest a bit. I don't want to add vibration in there, even though it's in the steady rest already. I don't want to add any vibration I can avoid adding. Woo! I just touched that Forstner bit just a little bit. Still mighty warm. Okay, I think I might be able to clear the rest of that out now. Maybe not all of it. That's all right. Take another measurement here. And from there it's 4 inches. I got really close, so that's good enough for me. Actually, I can bring this guy out just a tad bit more, and that will clear all of that. So we'll bring the Forstner bit out a little bit more. Didn't quite seat that all the way. All right, let's see what we got here. Almost there, so I'll be able to get to it pretty easily from that side. And it just so happens that's where we're going next. It's not touching, that's not touching. Okay. So let's take this guy off the, whoops. There, that's item number 2. That would be the chuck key. Loosen this up since it'll be easier to loosen up in the tailstock and let it cool down. All right. Here's the key. Actually, let's mark this guy. I don't know that it's going to matter since that is all going to disappear and the cap's going in there, but hey, just for fun, because it's habit, let's keep it a habit. So that'll be on that side. Yep, I'm gonna have to move the steady. I may have to. Wow, that's still kind of warm. Can't quite see through it. I don't have any light flashing through there, but I'm gonna have to move my steady down. I think that's tight enough. Oops, wrong direction. Left myself plenty of material to tighten down onto. Okay, that's touching already. So why is that? Oh, because you're loose. So I want to put this on the widest point of this bulb. I'm going to get a little bit of vibration because of the bark here going underneath the wheel, but it shouldn't be much. Boy, getting this thing just right. Seems about right. Oh yeah, gotta tighten this. Okay, here we go. So a little bit of vibration, but not bad. I'll take it. And since I got a lot of material to hog up, well, let's see, can I, no, I need to finish this bottom curve, so I'm gonna cut all this away now. I'm turning kind of slow. I can speed it up a little bit. All right, so I might have a little too much pressure on there. Let me back that off because you can see these are riding up. Still riding up a little bit, but not as much. Oop, I don't want to take it all the way off. There we go. And hopefully they won't come off. Alright, so I'm going to want a bit of a flat bottom. Well, am I though? Yeah, I want to be able to hide that. Well, I don't need a flat bottom for that though. Alright, so I'm going to finish the curve here and then decide where the actual bottom will be so I know, generally what shape I need to cut this into and how I need to fit it. I like that curve. I think it needs to be improved. Make sure I'm not leaving any wheel tracks. Not really. I'll be able to sand those up pretty easily. Okay, I want to sand all this now and then figure out. I'm gonna hollow it. I'm gonna hollow it with top cutting, back hollowing techniques, and then I'll be able to open the hole to whatever size I want. 220. That's 6 and 800. Not what I'm looking for. There's the 220. Dang. I was turning at about 600 or so right there. I don't mind forgetting because it's a great demonstration of you don't have to have your lathe running at its top speed to turn anything. Faster lathe does not necessarily make you a better turner. Practice does that. But depending on the circumstances, of course, the faster lathe may get you between points where you're cutting air a lot faster. That's pretty good. All right. Time to hollow this side. Oh, I can't get very close. Let me change my tool rest. Oh, I don't know if this is going to be too tall. Let's find out. I hope not. I hope it is. Oh, it's just a little bit short, even though it's all the way down against this brake bar. So that's cool, but it still doesn't get me very close. Can I adjust this guy? I'm going to get a lot more vibration right there if I do. Okay. Normally I want to be a lot closer than this, but I think I can work with this just fine. We will find out shortly. Can at least get right up against the steady rest. Alright, get rid of the scissors and these other tools. Scoop them a little bit further down. Don't need the scissors. Alright, let's see how well this works in steady rest. Well, I got right on the center more or less. The drilling is going fairly easy. So I'm working on drilling all the way through. Which should be pretty close now. There it is. And I'm gonna put a little wax there. Oh, and I'm going to grab that water bottle again. Water sprayer. Because this tool steel is gonna get hot. In fact, it already is, I think. Okay, so let me scoot around a little bit. Oh yeah, oh yeah. That dude was warm. Okay, let's move the water aside. Actually, let's put it down here. And let's see how well this works. I guess I can take a minute to explain this technique. So, in France, anyway, according to Laurent Niclot, this is called top cutting. I learned the term here in the States as back hollowing. I think perhaps that came from Australia. Yeah, so anyway, normally with back hollowing, you're only opening it up a little bit to be able to get, remove that inner material and then start doing like bowl cuts and stuff like that. and I top cut the whole way, and I'm using the top part of the wing to cut, just like I would use the bottom, but I have to angle my tool in such a way that that's what's making contact. And I need to have, in order to do this effectively, I need to have a small entry hole here so that I can use the edge of that as a fulcrum. Since the tool is cutting on its upper wing and not the bottom one. And I normally want to be a lot closer than this so I can get further into this angle this way. I'll just have to work around it. And you know what? I'm going to give this guy a few seconds with some water. Oh yeah, that's boiling right off. It does heat up the tool because the friction against this part of the tool steel is creating heat, and of course the cutting action is also creating heat. But I find it to be a very effective way of hollowing out these things, different things. Still mighty warm. And I'm going to step inside too because I just realized I'm going to need a flashlight. So we'll grab this flashlight right here. Oops. Can't see much in there, but let's see how far I've gotten so far. Oops. Almost there. So continue to work on this wall thickness and hollowing it out. And the way this cuts, I find most of the time the shavings come right down the flute and come right on out on their own. And there will come a point where I can't get any more to the side, which means I'll have to open up my hole a bit. Let's take a look at what we got going on right now. Okay. Guess I'm going to open up the hole a little bit. Whoops. And we'll take another look. Right after I hose this tool down. think you can probably see the steam coming off of it. Oh, that's a nice thickness too. I'm almost at my final thickness in here, which is what I want to try to get first. Let's see. Yep. Oops. Let's blow that out. All right. I'm hoping to see a lot of this blow out the other side. This is just a little bit trickier because I'm a little bit further away. I like my tool rest as close to that as possible. And the 1/2-inch spindle gouge might work a little better in this location. Let's take a look again. Oh, that's very nice. So let's bring that guy online. A little bit of top cutting there. It's got me just about, got me a lot closer to that width, so that is a very good thing. So I am going to continually stop and check just to make, there it goes. Just to make sure I'm not going to go through the sides here. Still getting vibration out of it because of the reach off the tool rest. Oh, got to blow it out first. All right, let's give this dude a shot. I think that got me right to my diameter here. Almost. You know what? I'm going to swap to the bowl gouge because it has more mass. I think that got rid of that almost. And then I think I can get the rest from the top, maybe. Oh, no, I think I can get it. Just, use it like a bowl gouge. Yeah, something like that. First time chatter. TYG6534. What kind of steady rest is that? Hey, thanks for joining me. This is joining us, I should say. This is a one-way steady rest. And in the beginning of the broadcast tonight, I talked about some of the drawbacks, I guess, in my opinion. When I bought the unit, I just wanted the spindle steady, this pit here with the stand. But this is just sold as another piece. It doesn't come with the stand. You have to buy the stand and the bowl steady, which I never use. I never use the bowl steady, but I had to buy that and then pay for this to be able to use this stand. But it's a very, very good, solid stand. I'm very happy with the results that I've gotten with it over the years. I think I'm going to try this guy just to get the last little bit up there. Ooh, nope, I can't get any closer, so that won't do. But yeah, one-way spindle steady, one-way bowl steady, spindle steady. Oh, yeah, I can't get any closer to that one. Let me get a longer bowl gouge. Shut that off for a second. TYG6534. Are you a wood turner? You have an interest in wood turning? Ooh, I think that got. Oh, most of it. All right, I don't have to do very much. Sweet! Just doing a little bit of scraping right in the neck right there with the bowl gouge. Had the mass that I wanted to avoid too much vibration. Yeah, that's pretty clean too. Nice. And the wall thickness is fairly even. It's really close. And that, I think, should do it. We only have to worry about putting the bottom on, hiding that seam. Take another gander there. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I'd like to take a little more wall thickness out of there, but that'll be all right. Oh, actually, I will be able to when I open the hole. What am I thinking? Yeah, I'm going to have to open it more than that. Might have to go after it with the box scraper, possibly. Okay. Now we can do a little bit more good with this. That's better. All right, I'll take that. Okay, now let's see. If I look at the bottom here, I can actually, I think I want a little bit more of a flat spot there. Oh yeah, that's right. Too high for that guy. Which means now I've got to clean that up. That'll do right there, actually, I think. So I will grab the box scraper. that hole perpendicular? Yes. Okay, cool. So now all I got to do is make sure that's where I want it. Not quite. Let's see. Let's see. So I want to have a detail there. It's not too close. I think that'll probably be okay. So we'll go with that. Make sure it is perpendicular, and it is parallel. Sorry. And now I'm ready to turn this dude and make the bottom. I might be able to get away with, let's find out. I might be able to get away with finishing this guy off with another chuck. I did mark this on 4 and 1, did I not? I did. And the key says let me free, so I can finish this off. Yeah. And that I will hold in the other chuck as well, so take this guy all the way off. Cool, thanks. Yes, I've been turning for a few years, says TYG9534. Pens and bowls mostly. Cool, man. Bowls are, I don't know, one of the mainstays, I think, of turning, right? Okay, let's see. I want this chuck. I'm mostly confident about this because I'll be going in expansion mode, but I've got pretty good thickness here. Assuming this is the guy that will fit inside. Alas, it is not, so we'll go with the other one then. Thought this one might work. This should do just as well. Or better, rather. Oh, wrong side, Dave. That's... So he doesn't fit in there. All right, I had it turned around. Look where that's going to fall. I will need to take that down, but not yet. Actually, I should. So I have this is a little proud, which means it won't sit out here where I want it to. So I'm going to have to take this down a little bit. And still need the spindle steady. So we'll shift him down. I think that'll do. Okay. That's down low enough. All right, put that tool away. Let's see, what else can I put away? Nothing. Okay. Flip her around, and now I can work on this end. And finish that off. I do not like the expansion holes. Just don't like them. But I definitely have enough material to do it with, so. And there was no cracks in this either, so I feel pretty confident that it'll be a decent hole. I don't need to have a death grip. So again, I'm trying to set these wheels on this outer bead so that it rides in the center. Just these little micro adjustments to get it in the right spot. Did that shift that whole piece? How did that happen? Ah, it's that expansion hold. Ugh. Okay. How does that go? Pretty good. All right, we're ready to rock. So I'm going to have to use my spindle gouge for most of this because this tool rest sits too high for my bowl gouge. And almost too high for that. Let's see if I can get it down any further. That's the bottom right there. Yeah, that'll work. Actually, before I do that, there goes that one. All right. Well, we'll switch gears here. Get this guy out of here. And while I'm at it, let's see, since I have to clean this up, let's do this the safest way possible. Bring up the tailstock and grab a tennis ball. Hello, tennis ball. This way I can have tailstock support. That's not right. I wonder if my tailstock or if my live center will go. Will it? Yep, darn it. Okay. Why I don't like expansion holes. Too much can go incorrectly. There we go. So I'll need a little bit more light for this guy. See, that should have mostly fixed that. Let's hit it again. Did not like that at all. Looks like I will just have to remove that whole entire bead. Oh, wait. Wait. Oh, yeah. Well, I can... You know what? I'm going to wind up carving that into a pour spout looking kind of deal. So, speed this guy up. And then let's take care of this. And then just about there. Actually, that could be the spout. Which means that guy will have to be a little smaller. And now I think as far as context goes, I don't know, making this stuff up as I go, and having a lid on it in the first place will make more sense as far as context. Okay, good. So we got that. Recovered from that. Let's go back to this guy. I'm gonna have to move it. And I am gonna double check my expansion hold again, just to be sure that it's good and tight. You can overdo it with an expansion hold, especially if you don't have the mass to push back against the jaws as they're expanding out, but I've got quite a bit there. So I should be able to take it down a little bit more. Oops. Just make these little micro adjustments to where the stand is at. Now normally with something like this, I would hollow from the outside or from the inside out. But I can't really do that here because it is in the spindle steady, and I don't want it to squirt out this side. Okay, get the tailstock out of the way. Which is now going to change a little bit. Boy, I'm really going to be off there. That's all right. I should be fine. I'm going to be off the tool rest quite a bit, but I should be okay. So that changes now my curve here if I'm going to make this a pour spout. Groovy. Now we need to make sure we've got still have a good hold. Chucks will vibrate open and closed. It's good to check them every so often. You know, if I pull this up here like this, I will be a lot closer and not so far away from the work. So I don't want to take heavy cuts here. Big reason is because I'm in that spindle steady. and I don't want to squirt out. Oh, you'll chance it. That was a gamble. Worked out. All right, let's take a look at that on the inside. Whoops, not the flashy light guy. All right, I need to take that wall thickness down a little bit more. Tailstock is not in the way. It is important to remember that this whole piece is in spindle orientation. The grain is running parallel with the lathe bed, the ways. I'm going to grab my round nose negative rake scraper and clean that up with a pass. Assuming I can find it. There it is. Still got a good burr, so I'm not going to do anything with that. I will need to raise this a bit. That might be too much. Not if I get over here. Okay. I think I got it, but I'm not sure. Oh, a little bit more. Yeah, a little bit more. And then I think it'll be fine. So I've got it tilted up on edge so that I'm only contacting the burr. The tool is not flat on the rest. It is right now. To get around this curve. I think that took care of that. Yeah, okay, cool. I mean, to say that, there's just the tiniest, just the tiniest little bump, little constriction. Lovely shavings. All right, how's that feel? A lot smoother. Good, we're done with this guy. Put him back. So now we are done with this guy. Key. So yeah, that's pretty smooth in there. You see the light actually come through the, I think if I get it in camera anyway, come through the resin here. So, you know, let's put the flashlight on it. So that will add to the piece itself, which is awesome. Now let's make the bottom and hide that hole. I'm not going to use this chuck. But I am going to use this guy. Actually, before we put that on there, let's take a look at this. So we want the grain pattern to line up as closely as we can get. So let's play around with this a little bit. That looks really close right there. So I'm going to say, with the magic center point finding pencil, like that, whoops. Gonna get the lid out of there. That will be really close to the center that I want, which means I'm putting this between centers to round it out. So let's dismantle this guy. Put this all away. This is a nice unit. I mean, I'm not saying it, it's not. It's great for what it does. It was just disappointing that I had to buy. I couldn't just buy the one piece that I wanted or needed, really. And on the, actually, I'll just bring it out. The bowl steady itself, this is what they should have done, in my opinion, with the spindle steady. This is the bowl steady, and it's already got skate wheels on it. So I really wish that they would have put these on the other one. But I will do that at some point. I think I'll have to. I think part of the problem is that the skate wheels are a little bit wider in diameter. But I'm pretty sure they have, I mean, there's more than one diameter of skate wheel, right? So I'll figure it out. I think the biggest hiccup for the whole thing is just that double band on the spindle steady, the double bands on the wheels. Because I have had those come loose, come off, and then, it's not disaster, but it changes things in a hurry. All right, that goes there, and that goes there, and in theory, this goes right here. Oh, I got it upside down. Upside down. There we go. All right, where was I? Going between centers. That's where it was. So let's mark this one. We'll just say it's right there. Which may or may not put it there, but we'll fake it from there. Move that guy aside, these aside. Get rid of this guy. That's victim number 3. My table fell off. My little table for my tool, for the banjo. Come on. Put these guys away too. You belong there, and you belong with the steady. All right. You know, I'm going to say that it would be easier to do this that way. Okay. You know, I think I will. And let's take a look at this guy. Cut it too thin there. It will give me a ballpark once this is a little rounder. Make sure we're not, nope. Not getting too thin. Be enough to work with. So now I can put it back in the chuck. Get rid of the tailstock so that I can do my fitment. Not the tailstock in the way. Square shoulder. Not quite. There we go. Not even close. What's the deal here? Oh, I know what's going on. This no longer matters. Now we're round. Juggle some things a little bit here. Move that, moved. How are we doing on time? I see. Oh, sorry, I missed there a little bit. TYG6534 asks, do you typically use traditional turning tools? I have only used carbide cutters and am thinking about switching. That is primarily what I use. The only carbide cutter that I have, oh, wrong dish, is these two cutters here, and these go on my Lyle Jameson hollowing system when I'm doing, when I do hollowing that way. And so these are the only carbide cutters that I have, and these are, I believe they're called nano carbide. You can't resharpen them, but they stay sharp for a really, really long time. And I tend to kind of rotate a little bit as I go, so I'm continually moving that edge around. But that's the only carbide tool that I have. Everything else is traditional turning tools, gouges, that kind of thing. I have worked with a couple. One was the Easy Wood tool, which I thought, I was not impressed. I just wasn't impressed with the Easy Wood tools. But I didn't start off with. Okay, this is going to go inside, so this will be the outside. And if I set it there, that is really close. Okay, cool. So that is really, really close. Sorry, a little aside there. I didn't start off with those kinds of tools. When I started off, I started off with zero knowledge. I had a Harbor Freight $200 lathe that I had to reinforce with 2x2s and 2x4s to keep the ways from twisting because they would do that. It was only a 3/8 horse motor on it, and I turned a bunch of stuff, not great, some better than others, but it was the fortifying of the lathe that made a huge difference in how well it did. But then I got, and at the same time, since I had zero knowledge, and I was trying to follow along with YouTube, which I definitely shy people away from. Try to, I don't follow people on YouTube unless you know that they know what they're doing, because YouTube, in my opinion, and actually I think this is the general rule, to be honest, is that a lot of things that are on YouTube are there, people want to get the views. That's how they get monetized. And so they don't necessarily care about your safety or whatever. They may be doing outrageous things. Some things unsafe. I did learn some unsafe things in the beginning. I actually did get one of Richard Raffin's books early on, which helped me with the skew. I still had a lot of learning to do with the skew. Of course, the book helped quite a bit. All right, we're going to speed this bit up a little bit by using my homemade Badan backwards. Okay, so that's too small. I can zero in on the size I'm looking for. Oh man, that's almost right on, because this needs to be cut away anyway. But anyway, back to the story. I guess I bought 3 full sets of turning tools when I first started. Bought them on eBay, and what's the other one? Damn it, what's the other one? eBay and the other one. I can't remember now what it's called. For some reason, my brain is drawing a blank. But that's where I got those sets of tools. It's just a tad bit too small. And quickly learned that most of the tools in a turning set I don't even use. Or I didn't even use when I started. I started learning more about those tools as I got my, my confidence up and my feet wet with bowl gouge and spindle gouge. Spindle gouge. I still did a lot of tool exploration and all that, but never got into carbide tools because it's another thing that I've noticed too. In my opinion, working with carbide tools kind of puts you a little bit at a different angle than you would be with traditional tools as far as physically. And so you got to turn with them a little bit different. Not that that is a detriment one way or the other. It's just I never got into it. And now that I've been doing this for a while, I will probably never own a carbon tool. Probably. Might get at some point a set of hollowing tools like from come on Dave, Trent Bosch, possibly, but that again, that would be the only reason I would have it, and especially with carbide, because when you're hollowing with that, you're pulling from the center down towards the outside, so it's at an angle this way. You're cutting as you're hollowing in, which I do that with Lyle Jameson's hollowing system. It's got that carbide bit. At least last time I bought one, it was $20. They might be 25 now. I don't know, but those bits last a really, really long time. And I don't know. I just kind of myself, I prefer to use the gouges. I think I've got a lot more control with them. And I think that they're more versatile. Just my opinion. I think the traditional tools are a lot more versatile than people realize, and that is definitely some of the things that I like to teach when I'm teaching my students. It's like, try this, try this little bit different approach with that tool. And it's how I taught myself to hollow with the back hollowing method. I said, well, if I'm not violating, I'm not going uphill to the grain, because I'm not, when I'm hollowing that way, I'm still going downhill to the grain. The surface is coming this way and it's coming against that top wing. So it's no different than coming down this way and the other wing. So I'm not violating that. I'm not violating being above center or, the ABCs, anchor, bevel, cut. I'm not violating any of those things. And therefore it works out really well. But I am the only one, as far as I am aware, who hollows most of the stuff entirely with a spindle gouge. I just think there's a lot more control. I don't have to keep swapping tools around. Today's an exception. So I want to give this, let's see, a little bit of a rounded bottom on the inside. We'll fit it in there and see how it looks. I'm going to have to probably play with the thickness of this plug, in fact. Anyhow, oh yeah, I'm going to have to. Flashlight. There it is. Oh, but not by much. Holy smokes, that's awesome. Oh man, that is like, I don't know, maybe a 16th of an inch I got to take off there. Hey man, got to be happy about that. The plan is coming together, man. So the seam might be visible from the inside. Oops, that's going to have to be looks like I got a tad bit of a taper on this guy. And that's going to stop me from seating this all the way down. There we go. But it's not going to be totally visible, especially when I get this. Golly, that looks nice. When I get this piece rotated around to match this as closely as I can get away with. I want a piece of 220 here. Pretty much just to clean up this outside edge just a bit. Let's see if that looks the way I would like it to look. Oh, should I take it down a little bit more? All right, I'm going to take it down just a little bit more. I'm doing it this way because I don't want to have to stick a tool down in there again. There we go, to line everything up. I want that wall height to meet the wall height right there on the inside. And I'm going to leave it the way it is. This is now the size that I need. I am going to, what am I going to do here? I am going to do something. Let's think about that. Oh, yeah, I'll have to hold on to it there. Okay, cool. So let's get this guy out of here. Where's the key? There it is. But that's just my personal preference. As I say, I'm not against carbide tools. It's just not something that I normally use. I think whatever tools help you stay at the lathe and work for you, those are the tools you should use. And at some point, I will definitely need to get a better handle on the carbide tools, because when I teach, I want to be able to teach whatever it is, whatever tools they're used to using, what the student is used to using. I think I should have a little bit of a handle on. I have the basics for carbide tools, but that's about it. I don't know that it would take me a whole lot to get up to speed, but I don't know. Man, that's close. I'm going to have to, let's see. Let's look at it from this side. In fact, let's clean that up so that I can get a better look from this side. I want to try to line this grain up before I glue it in. So I just need this surface here. Get rid of most of this. Got to leave that so my tailstock, my live center will hold on to that when I flip all this around there. Now I can see that pattern a little bit better. And it looks like that is really close. Let's rotate it around and take a look at another spot. Not that one. Not maybe that one. Well, you know what? Let's just rotate it all the way around and see what we see. It is very close. It is the same wood, so it won't be super apparent. Oh, I think that's it right there. Yeah, I think that's it right there. Okay, time for glue. I'm going to go grab some wood glue really quick. Let's get that out of there so that doesn't go flying across the room in case the lathe decides to turn itself on. Wood glue is all the way over here. There we are. So I'm not going to go too crazy with the wood glue because I don't want to fill this little detail here. I want to leave that alone. So what I'm going to do is, sorry, two more things I want to do. The reason I have these things in the first place, grabbing some very large-headed Q-tips with long handles, so that I can clean the glue from the inside. That will probably squeeze out on the inside if I can get this bag open. You know, I forgot to check the doggone audio and see if it's showing up. I'm trying to pay attention to chat and answer those questions. And oh, come on now. I'm fighting a Ziploc bag that I cannot get open. There we go. I don't guess I'd absolutely have to use one of these, but that's why I bought them. For stuff like this, I could use a paper towel on the end of a dowel, probably. Let's grab this. No, not that. Let's grab this. Too much water. There we go. So I got a little 100 ml beaker of water here, and then a fat Q-tip with a long handle so I can stick it down in there and clean the glue up from the inside, because I'm going to glue it this way. If I keep this on camera. So I'm going to put the glue on the inside of where the tenon's going to sit, just like that. Now, of course, I have thrown away where I was going to set this. Dope. Nope. Nope. I think it was close to here. Yes. So I need to put it just like that. And we'll press that home and we'll clean up. There's not a lot of squeeze out, turns out, but that's okay. This will take care of that pretty quickly. And a paper towel and a partridge in a pear tree. So there'll be no obtuse glue line in the bottom. Squeeze some of that water out. And if I can get it smoothed out really well, you may not even see the seam. Okay, so that's the bottom. Let's put this stuff out of sight. And now I'm going to flip this around, put the tailstock up on it for a minute, and finish off this bottom. And I get to use this guy. Since I'm carving where that spout, let's see, I want the spout, do I want it there? No, I want the spout here. So it'll be all right with a little bit of marking from the chuck. I don't need to go stupid tight with it. I just need to keep it steady because I'm bringing up the tailstock, and then the last little bit I'll take light cuts of to remove the last little bit, and then I should have a done piece, a finished piece. Okay, let's see, let's put these guys away. Try not to have too many tools rolling around on the lathe. Pretty much just have what I need. I think that covers everything. Now let's bring up the tailstock, grab the live center. And away we go. See how well we're running true here. Hey, all right. Not gonna complain about that. Perfect. So I didn't fill in that detail, and then as I cut through, it just cut all this stuff off. It was beautiful. It's awesome. Okay. Let's go with this guy. A little bit of glue there. All right. That is the seam, though. Now let's make that seam a detail. Use the smaller 3/8 detail gouge for that. Now I'm going to take very light cuts. That's why. She'll throw herself right around, or right out of center. There we go. Tighten it just a little bit more. Not much. You have to run out of tool rest. And there we have it. So I'm going to run a little bit of 220 right on the bottom there. Oh, and I did need to do 220 on this because I had to adjust that curve. Forgot about that almost. And with my sanding, I usually have a very, very light hold on the abrasive. If the lathe pulls it out of my hands, that's okay. That means it's not going to pull me into the lathe. So that's the bottom. Oh man, not awesome, but you know, it's not terrible. Let me take. No, I don't want to do that either. I thought about taking. Just briefly thought about taking another piece of wood and burning in there, and that would break up that. But it's still not quite. It's close. That was as close as I was going to get anyway, I think. So that is a groovy thing. So you really can't tell that, I hollowed it from both sides. And I got to keep the mark and the figure that's in the wood. I'll have to clean that out with a wire brush. All that's left is to sign it. So I'm going to sign it. And while I'm at it, turn that off. So it was a pretty good fit in there, a really good friction fit. I still don't want to push really hard on the bottom at the moment. Because what's holding it in place is the friction fit and the wood glue. Now I will be on the lookout for, somewhere in my wood pile, another piece of this. Hopefully I have it so that I can make the lid for it. I'll have to carve my spout. Pretty sure I'm going to want the spout on this side, on the opposite side of the resin. Or maybe on the side. Maybe I'll have it on one. I may have it right here on the side so that as it tilts, you still see that, which means I will probably wind up fashioning a handle. Maybe, but definitely a lid. Okay, cool. That's it. Awesome. So we are at basically about 8 minutes left or so, so I'm going to call it a wonderful evening. I'm going to turn that light off above my head, or rather unscrew the bulb. There we go. Turn that one off. And we've got a few minutes left before I normally end the broadcast at 11. So if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to throw them in chat. I will definitely answer what I can answer. I thank you again for joining me. My name again is Dave. I am a wood turner, and I started turning as therapy for PTSD. Found out I had a knack for it. I also fell in love with the whole process. I like learning as much as I can about wood turning. There's so many facets for myself. I'm always practicing, always looking at things, trying to find out more efficient ways, more body-friendly ways to do certain things, but to get as much use out of the tools that I've got to pay for and replace every so often. What the heck is going on here? I think I've got my chuck is full of sawdust, I think. TYG6534 says, thanks, appreciate it. Yeah, very well, very welcome. Hopefully I was able to show you something new, and answer your questions in a manner that helped you out. I don't know why this is stopping. I'm going to have to clean this chuck out. It's a bummer. Why is it stopping? Oh, it's got to be because of all the shavings inside those grooves. All right, I'll just have to take it apart and blow it out. No big deal. Anyway, I hope to see you back, TYG6534. I normally stream at this point, and I don't know, I might add another night, but right now it's Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 8 to 11 Eastern Standard Time. And if you follow the channel, you'll get notifications when the broadcasts are coming up, or any changes that may happen. I thank you all very much for joining me on Twitch Tuesday. This is, like I say, I really enjoy doing this, and it's always more fun, for me anyway, to be able to turn in front of people. Even though you're not right in front of me, you're here. And I just, I enjoy turning. I like turning. I like talking about it. Yeah. So thanks for joining me. I hope you are able to join me again tomorrow evening, 8 to 11 Eastern Standard Time. If not, again, it's every Tuesday and Wednesday. Hope to see you when you can make it back. Thank you, folks, very much for your support. Hope you stay friendly. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll see you next time.